This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations. Now breakfast.
The People's Democratic Party, the PDP, has formed a 7-man reconciliation committee headed by former Senate President Bukola Saraki to refine procedures for the party's National Executive Committee and National Convention. The party has faced several internal crises that have prolonged these two events for a while now, with several postponements recorded over the last few months. Joining us to discuss this move this morning is Jide Ojo, who is a political analyst. Mr. Ojo, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning, Stephen. It's my pleasure.
Can we get your reactions to this news from the PDP?
Well, it's a welcome development. Dr. Bukola Saraki happens to be one of their prized jewels, having been the number 3 citizen as president of the Senate and a former governor. So he has both legislative and executive experiences, and one of the very few people who have remained very steadfast within the PDP fold. To the best of my knowledge, Bukola Saraki has never left PDP since he joined way back under Obasanjo, when he served as a presidential advisor before his late father drafted him into the politics of Kwara State, where he served 2 terms as governor and moving up to Senate, where he served a couple of times and then crowned it all with President of the Senate between 2015 and 2019. So he's actually one of the people with pedigree to reconcile the PDP, but the work is enormous for this 7-man committee.
Mr. Ojo, before we move off to the rest of the committee, I want to stay with Senator Saraki. You're not wrong in tracking in how you trace his political history with the PDP, but also in the last few years that they've had these internal crises, he has by and large been quiet. Once in a while he'll make a statement, but for the most part he doesn't seem to have been as active as required of the troubles his party has been facing. Besides his pedigree, do you think he holds enough clout to face this task?
I believe he has enough clout. Don't forget, there have been several reconciliation meetings, committees in time past. Why I think PDP was spot on with the choice of Saraki is that, beyond his political pedigree, he's also a Yoruba in northern geographical location. So he belongs to the north, he belongs to the south. He's also a young, I think if at all he's in his 50s, he should be in his early 60s, which compared to choosing an octogenarian or a non-octogenarian to do the record. It's not by age, it's not by... So everything fits Saraki, and it's not controversial. It's close to Wiki. I've seen a video of him, of his visit to Wiki, where they were having fun in the kitchen, where Wiki cooks and all of that. So it's close to Wiki, and possibly they feel that if somebody who could talk to Wiki and then talk to the other camps. But you see, my worry is not about the choice of Bukola Saraki to chair the reconciliation committee. My worry is whether the gladiators will shift ground from their entrenched positions. Because we do know that it's inordinate ambition of some of the power brokers and chieftains of PDP that has made the reconciliation impossible within the party. As I said earlier, it's not the first time that we are having the conciliation committee set up. And more so, I was talking to the time issue. Saraki is to chair this committee and and work to reconcile people ahead of the National Executive Committee meeting scheduled for 27th and 28th of this month. That's barely in another 2 weeks. And then ahead of the August 2027 National Convention. But whatever it is, it's a good thing that the PDP has seen the need to declare state of emergency to reconcile warring factions across the state. Unfortunately for them, Osun is leaking now for PDP, which is a bad omen. In the last elections, Osun PDP has elsewhere to the extent that they were able to win that seat for Atiku. Atiku defeated Tinubu in Osun State in 2023 presidential election. But today, someone like in Obokun Federal Constituency, I just read now that a former senator has also left PDP. And that is not a good omen for them ahead of next year's governorship election in that state. So what I'm saying is that reconciliation is urgent and important for them. But I hope the gladiators, the power brokers, will shift ground and allow party interests to superimpose and superintend over their own personal interests.
So let me raise a few people for you. First off, looking at the 7-member committee, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State and Governor Peter Umba of Enugu are two governors that have been touted by the APC as, possible brides that they are courting. Now, another name to take note of here is Okezie Ikpeazu, right, the former governor of Abia, and his membership of the G5 in the 2023 campaign season. Now, besides these three names on the committee, you also have the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, who made a surprise appearance at the meeting yesterday. At least from what we hear, was a surprise appearance. He wasn't expected.
It was on Sunday. The meeting was
on Sunday, pardon me. The outcome being what we heard on Monday. So I'm just looking at these four names and your comments about the political gladiators or the strongmen giving way for this reconciliation to actually happen. When you consider everything, the dynamics around these people, what's the likelihood, really, that this reconciliation could possibly happen?
Well, we need to understand that the reconciliation will be at different levels. It will be at local, local government. There are different structures within the party. We have the ward, the local government, the state, zonal, and then the national. So the reconciliation will have to be at least about 4 different levels. Because while you may talk of Atiku Abubakar versus Wike at the center, a lot of this content is happening within the state. And you will paper over that at your own peril. So, the big elephant are the Wike and Atiku Abubakar. For me, it's widely reported across the media spectrum this morning. Wike is telling them to avoid the mistakes of 2023 and that PDP is not ready to win in 2027. Now, these are very profound statements. What was the mistake of 2023? There was supposed to be a power shift to the south. APC was able to yield that, shifted power to the south by endorsing, at least the governors endorsed Tinubu. Mm-hmm. But in the case of PDP, they ended up voting Atiku Abubakar as their standard bearer. And that polarized the party. In fact, that was the major reason why Wike was so angry, because not only did he lose the presidential ticket to Atiku, he was not even seen as somebody that could be consoled with a vice presidential ticket. Right. And so he went all out and mobilized 4 other governors with themselves to work against Atiku's interests. So he's already telling them that maybe 2027 will not be for you. But rebuild the party. And that's why, as I said earlier on, reconciliation will not be at only the national level. It has to be at the state, at the local, and at the world level, at the zonal level. There have been several caucuses, zonal caucuses that have been held against the grain of the party constitution. They have to look into that. Rivers case has not been resolved. Ultimately, there have been several people parading themselves as the executive of PDP in Rivers,
right,
and several other states. So they need to just work at different levels. Bukola Saraki will just have to expand and mobilize people across different states to help him with the reconciliation efforts that is been saddled with. But
all right, Mr. Ojo, my apologies, but because of time, we're going to leave the conversation here. I'd like to thank you very much for your time and expertise on this conversation. Jide Ojo is a political affairs analyst who joined us this morning to speak on the People's Democratic Party (PDP) naming former Senate President Bukola Saraki as the head of a 7-member committee to work on internal issues that have plagued the party, especially as they work towards a National Executive Committee and National Convention.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.